Hi everyone, I'm Michael Manrigan. I'm one of the Habit Guys. We teach realtors prospecting habits so they finally become top producing agents. And welcome to the Realtor Habits Podcast, where agents don't need more stuff, they need better habits. Before we get into today's episode, I want to let you know about our Habit Guys Instagram. We all want to prospect consistently and be more organized. Well, to do that, you need to think, do, and act like a top producer. Watch us prospect live and teach you every week for free in our Instagram how to get more expireds listings, FSBOs listings, how to connect with your sphere so you don't sound salesy, but instead learn to make friends. Learn the highs and lows that come with prospecting. Get answers to your questions in real time. All you have to do is visit us at www.instagram.com/habitguys. Again, that's instagram.com/habitguys, and follow us on Instagram to learn all the skills top producers use in their day-to-day business. If you know anyone that can gain value from this podcast episode, please do us a huge favor and share it with them. We're here to help as many realtors as possible, and we appreciate your help to do so. All right, let's get into this episode. This episode is called Why Do Realtors Procrastinate? And It's Not Their Fault. You know, there's all these studies out there where they say, like National Association of Realtors stipulates that every 5 years, 90% of agents just quit the industry altogether. You've heard things like maybe 50% of agents turn over every year. They come in and they leave. 10% of agents make 90% of the sales in the industry year after year. There's all these like statistics, right? And fundamentally, the real estate profession is rather simple if you were to think about it. Well, all you have to do is connect with people, and then when they need help with real estate, they choose you to work with them. So all you have to do is kind of have a grade school mentality, right? Where your goal is to just make friends, connect with people, help them, right? Not just in real estate, but truly care about them. And then when they're in need of real estate help, you're the solution. And for a lot of real estate agents, I would say most is fair to say, procrastination is a huge obstacle, challenge that they face. So in today's episode, I want to talk about why do realtors procrastinate, and more importantly, how it's not their fault. So let's start off by first defining procrastination. So procrastination is the action of delaying or postponing prospecting for a real estate agent, right? So that's the big thing. So procrastination is often thought about, being lazy or rooted into some deeper psychological issue like fear or maybe being overwhelmed. But in fact, it's not. It has to do a lot fundamentally with how we see what we believe the action, specifically of prospecting, means to us. So when we go to prospect, I like to simplify this by thinking, do we think I can prospect and then we do so, or do we think I can't prospect? And the I can't, some of the stories behind that is, oh, my desk is messy. Oh, I'm not sure what to say. Oh, am I calling at the right time? Oh, you know what? I'm an introvert, so I can't make calls and connect with people, right? These are stories that we tell ourselves. Oh, I don't want to sound salesy. This is a list of an I can't belief system. And this is important to understand that this belief system, this I can't belief system that is tied to the word that we call procrastination, isn't something you decided you wanted. No, in fact, it was produced by your past experience. So as you grew up, think about, the ages from 0 to 8, right? From the moment you were born to 8 years old. What is the one word individuals or human beings hear most often between that age? It's no. That's right. No. From what? From who? From adults, your parents, maybe teachers, maybe grandparents, right? The people that you're around, you're exploring as a child, and you're hearing no all the time. And this no associated with an adult is then carried on with us in adulthood. And when we are unsure, right? We are uncertain, any uncertainty, any level of uncertainty as to what can transpire after I speak with them or after they pick up the phone or, any scenario that you come up with, then guess what happens? That childlike experience is relayed to us as adults, and we feel literally the same shame or disappointment that we felt when we were children. So it's important to understand that this procrastination, actually, let's take a step back. So that happens in the moment. So when you go to prospect, right? If you're procrastinating right now, it's because when you attempted to prospect, the expectation that you had was not met, and it reminded you of the time when you were a child and you were being told no by an adult. And that is fundamentally, for most agents, that's what we're really talking about. Hearing no from an adult is fundamentally what's holding us back and what it means to us. And that meaning I just told you is tied to your past experiences, primarily your childhood. Now, how does it turn into procrastination? Well, now we begin, since we go to prospect and we're not meeting our expectation, let's be very specific, the phone's not picking up. It's going to the wrong number. Maybe you're calling your sphere and you're concerned about sounding salesy, right? You're hearing no, your expectation's not being met again and again and again, right? In some markets, it takes 100 calls to get one lead. Think about that. How many times are you hearing no, not right now, maybe later? Your expectation's not being met. So what happens is our brain it's a prediction machine. It begins to anticipate that end result of no, not right now, no from an adult. And what does it do? It causes you to paralyze yourself and say, I can't do this right now. And then you distract yourself with some other thing, right? And this is when we start just going from strategy to strategy to strategy to strategy, but never getting to the core issue, which is your belief system, which you can change, okay? So fundamentally, it's important to understand why you procrastinate. I just explained it in a nutshell. And it's not your fault because you're a freaking kid. It's your past experiences. As we grow up in life, we're just taking in information. We're not deciding, you know what, that one doesn't really truly mean that, so I shouldn't feel ashamed about that or disappointed about that one. I know where they're coming from. That one, okay, yeah, maybe that one, that was my fault. Who thinks that when they're a little kid? No one does, right? So we have these beliefs that are built within ourselves, and they correlate from our childhood to our adult experience. So fundamentally, what we have to do is to overcome our belief system, we need to, guess what? Actually prospect. You see, what happens is, as an adult, our brain becomes fully formed between the ages of, early 20s to mid 20s. And at that moment in time, no longer is, the entire environment, no longer are we learning from just walking into a room and taking in information. Now we get to decide exactly how we are going to rewire our brain, how we are going to learn to improve, how we are going to deal with the anticipation of failure. And this is so important because the only way you learn to feel confident with prospecting, which I would say is on the other side of a spectrum, right? Procrastination is over here, confidence is over here. The more confident you are, the less you probably procrastinate, is by prospecting, is by doing. And why is that? Well, you got to remember the memories that are jogging you to feel that procrastination, to feel when you anticipate prospecting to feel paralyzed or to freeze or to distract yourself, that comes from experiences, life experiences that now mean, boop, I gotta pump the brakes. So ultimately, what we need to do now is we need to provide new experiences with an adult view on the situation. And that's why it is absolutely critical that you prospect and you prospect consistently. But there's so much more to understand because, again, if your expectation is not being met, if you're not learning to appreciate and to feel some sense of progress with the sake of making calls, ultimately, you will continue to feel that procrastination because no human being, let me rephrase that, very few human beings and almost no realtors will continue to do something that makes them feel uncomfortable, maybe even a little bit of pain. So that's why ultimately it's critical for you to have a script, a framework that brings you, that ends the conversation that you're having with, expireds, FSBOs, Sphere, feeling good. That's got to be the last thing that you remember. If you don't remember that, guess what's going to happen? You're going to feel that expectation not met, that disappointment, that shame that you felt when you were a child, and it's going to be reinforced again and again and again. Even though you know better, even though I just told you all this and how it's not your fault, until you begin to feel differently and understand how to feel that sense of progress, when you just simply make calls, you will not overcome your procrastination. It is going to be very, very difficult because we have to rewire the way that we perceive prospecting to mean to us. Now, we're going to be diving into this in our next masterclass. It's called, Mastering New Scripts and Systems for Expireds. Expireds are the predominant lead source out there to get listings. Obviously, with this new policy for real estate agents, we need to focus on listings. So it's also just a better business model to have a listing focused business versus a buyer focused business. So I want to invite you to show up and master the new scripts and systems necessary for you to overcome your procrastination. Finally, learn how to feel confident after each call and have that build time and time again, because at the end of the day, there's no getting around connecting, calling, building relationships, following up. You have to do that. If you're not doing it and you know you need to do it, you need to show up to this masterclass and learn exactly, tactically, what is missing in your business. To do so, go to habitguys.com/sign up. Again, that's HabitGuys or www.habitguys.com/sign up. All right. Hey, everyone, before we wrap up today's episode, we have an exciting offer just for our loyal listeners. If you've been enjoying the content and finding value in our podcast, we'd love to hear from you. And here's the deal. If you leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, not only will it help us reach more real estate professionals like yourself, but we'll also send you a special thank you. Simply screenshot your 5-star review and email it to us at info@habitguys.com. As a token of our appreciation, we'll send you a signed copy of our best-selling book, The Habit House, for absolutely free. This book is packed with all the strategies and insights you need to build powerful habits and take your real estate career to the next level. So head over to Apple Podcasts, leave that review, and claim your free signed copy today. Thanks for your support and being part of the Habit Guys community. In closing, here is the missing piece to your business. It's accepting that when you know better, you do not necessarily do better. You do better when you change your habits. Let us help.